Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's talk about if BLM actually deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Also, more fake news around the COVID vaccine. But first, roll the intro. All right, welcome back to another episode. If you are new here, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you taking the moment to also, if you can, hitting that like button. You have no idea how much it helps if, of course, we've earned it. And with that, let's get right into it today. Josh, what do we have in the news?
All right, so first headline I found was actually from the Israel Hayom. So the headline was, I just couldn't resist when I saw it. Popular Rabbi warns followers that COVID vaccine could make you gay.
What? What the fuck?
So let's dive in a little bit deeper to what it actually said. So in addition to purporting a false link between vaccines and homosexuality, Rabbi Daniel Asser also claims that both the virus and the vaccines are work of a global malicious government trying to establish a new world order. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Rabbi Daniel Asser, maybe, anybody else caught that? Yeah. Maybe should focus more in having a deep view within himself. If maybe perhaps the reason, or not, I'm just, speculating here, him or somebody he knows is gay is not because of this damn vaccine. Maybe because, I don't know, you've always been gay. Stop blaming something like the vaccine. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a big believer of the vaccine. I haven't taken it. I know people that have taken it, and they seem to be fine. I'll say it now, as I've said it before. I'm going to wait. One, because it is not that crucial for my family and I to take the vaccine because we're not exposed like many other people are that are maybe working on the front lines. I'm always home. So is my family. Our groceries are delivered. Our kids are homeschooled. So again, I'm not going to try to get in front of the line. By the way, like some of these rich and powerful and influencers are basically cutting in line to get the vaccine, right? Because again, I don't need it. And then number two, I'm very much of the mentality to not rush into everything that is maybe growing in popularity. That is just who I am. I'm like that for almost everything and anything, including like the new iPhone. Do I have an iPhone? Yes. Am I the first one in line? Hell no. Am I one of those Black Friday guys that goes and sits down outside of Best Buy from like midnight? No. Never have, never will be. I'm that guy that likes to wait to see how things are rolled out, see how others treat it. I don't like to be part of the beta testing, put it that way, right? But it's no problem with me if other people are. So for those two reasons, I haven't taken the vaccine. Now, am I of the belief like Daniel what is it? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Is it Daniel Asshole? Oh, it's Asser. I'm sorry, Rabbi Asser. No. What a jerk. What a jerk to even come out and say that, especially since, according to the article here, and we have here in the notes, this guy has a large following. How dangerously stupid is for someone to have a large following and not understand that they have, in many cases, unfortunately, a lot of influence, right? See, by the way, every time we do one of these shows, Josh, it goes to show why I hate so much the words influencer and follower. You see what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it looks like the influencing and following has been going on for a lot longer. These were the proto-influencers, right?
Right.
So people who didn't need social media before they try to get people to do crazy stuff or believe crazy stuff. In my opinion, before I piss off the entire ultra-Orthodox community, that's what I believe. And I'm sorry if you're triggered because of that, but yeah. In any case, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that, you have that much power and influence, and you have to start treating it responsibly, you know? And if you believe, by the way, in the event that someone that is, you know, related to the rabbi or rabbi himself watches this video, listen, I'm just, you know, I am, you know, punching a little low and playing a game here on your name. You know, all seriousness, you know, or all jokes aside, rather, you need to be responsible with your goddamn influence. If you believe in something that, you know, as in my opinion, as preposterous as a vaccine will make you gay, you better have some science behind that, right? Because to this day, there hasn't been anything that, you know, scientists have been able to put forth in saying, oh, look, we have no dog in the fight, but, you know, it turns out that this medication or this vaccine actually messes with your hormones to the point where it's going to totally change your sexual preference. Now, I'm not talking about, by the way, those treatments where a lot of men or women, right, that have transitioned, they change and they purposely take, right, to be able to become either a trans woman or trans man. I'm not talking about that. Those are therapies, and that's a completely different ballgame. No, I'm talking about like a one-time medicine, or in this case, like a one-time shot you're taking. Back it up with what? With science, my friend. Don't back it up with some bullshit statement that comes from your heart or comes from some book, you know, that is just full of fluff and theories and feelings, because your feelings is what's making you, you know, say something stupid, like, you know, like this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And there's a lot of other treatments as well, like for cancer patients as well. There is hormone therapy, which is actually used to try and treat cancer. And I think, yes, there are side effects, but does it change your sexual preference? No. I think the other thing that we have to look into here is the way that Daniel Assur, I'm going to stick with his name there, Daniel Assur is actually saying that being homosexual is bad, basically, because it's like, no, don't take it, you'll be gay. It's like, your problem is...
Right.
Would it be a problem if I were gay? You know, I mean, that shouldn't be a reason that you don't take this vaccine. It's like, oh no, it could make you gay. It's like, your point being.
yeah, take it. Maybe you'll have more fun, Rabbi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, listen, you know, I have no problem against the gay community. You know, I don't think that you know, like this article, or perhaps rather, I should say, the rabbi is making it out to be, you know, it turning you gay. It's like it turning you into a demon. I'm not with that group. Never will be. You know, and I don't need to be gay to be, you know, someone that believes that, you know, it's someone's own preference, and it is just that, just their own preference, right? It has nothing to do with me. You know, it doesn't affect me. Nobody in my family right now, at least, is gay, and I'm not gay. My wife's not gay, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and stand against the gay community. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that's like, I don't need to be a part of it to say what's wrong and what's right in it, right? There's a lot of things, like many movements, like the ones we're about to get into right now. There are many movements that have just bad actors, right? That unfortunately put a bad name to the movement or to the group or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't mean that the entire thing is bad, right? We have to unfortunately eliminate the bad actors, and then see really what the movement in. And the LGBT community at its core is for the rights of those people that have a different sexual preference, period, right? Have you heard of just bad actors in the community? Of course. I, in fact, have met bad actors. People that, you know, don't act the best, you know, in public, and you wouldn't want to run you, you know, and they happen to be gay. But do I believe, oh, just because I met some one guy randomly a long time ago, who was gay and who, you know, didn't, you know, act the best in public, I feel like the whole community is bad? No. But anyways, I'm beating a dead horse now. Let's move on with it. Let's get on with the next story. What do we have?
So moving on, this is one I actually picked up from NBC, and it's Black Lives Matter nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. interesting. Very, very interesting compared, well, looking at the news that has happened over the past year in the movement. I think the movement has had a lot, and so much press for the whole of 2020 because of obvious reasons with what happened with George Floyd and general police brutality, right? But let's go in and start dissecting this a little bit more. Let's have a look at some notable winners of the Nobel Peace Prize. We have the likes of Nelson Mandela, the 14th Dalai Lama, Jimmy Carter, Al Gore, and actually, surprisingly, Barack Obama for some reason. But we'll go into why that's a little bit wrong in just a moment. But let's have a look. So, recognizing the movement will send a powerful message that peace is founded on equality, solidarity, and human rights, wrote a Norwegian lawmaker. A Norwegian lawmaker has nominated Black Lives Matter, the global racial justice movement, for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. In his nomination letter, Peter Eide, I think is his name, a socialist left member of the Storting, Norway's parliament, wrote that he had nominated Black Lives Matter for their struggle against racism and racially motivated violence. Interesting, right, JT?
Yeah. I'm seeing here that he went on to say that the BLM's call for systemic change have spread around the world, forcing other countries to grapple with the racism within their own societies. He continued, the movement began after the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's killer in 2013 and reached a peak in 2020 after the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police officer. ID wrote, I decided that Black Lives Matter online platform to provide activists with a shared set of principles and goals, saying that the grassroots movement comprises many views and a broad array of demands. Now, Jesus Christ. So this goes exactly with what I was just saying not long ago, right? With the other story. I understand, right? Part of my brain says, well, remember that at its core, Black Lives Matter makes a lot of sense, right? It's bringing awareness to the fact that there is definitely systemic injustice. I can't speak for the world, but at least here in America, against minority groups, of course, including and most notable because they're the ones that the media has made most notable, Black individuals, right? It doesn't mean, by the way, at least I'm one of those people that believes that systemic injustice only applies to people of color, right? Black people. No, it applies, of course, to brown people, right? Brown people, whether you're from Mexico or anywhere in Latin America, or you're simply brown, right? Because your mom is this and your dad is that, or your grandmother was this, period. Minorities, right? So part of my brain says, hey, at its core, this makes a lot of sense. Here's the problem with that, is that you guys just saw that video, that little clip at the beginning of the episode that triggers the other side of my brain in the sense of, well, is there and has there been more reason for BLM, okay, to be nominated right now, right? Is there more reason than there used to be? Perhaps in 2013 and even between then and now, between then and before George Floyd, there was definitely a reason to nominate the movement. However, what has transpired in 2020 and 2021 at this point, you can kind of say, hasn't been the most, Nobel Peace Prize worthy of, right? Now, I understand that some people will say, right, that, well, that's kind of what it takes. It takes for us to make a little noise, and it takes for us to be under what's called, I think, civil disobedience, which then I would say bullshit, because there's been hundreds if not maybe thousands of people that unfortunately have been impacted negatively over the actions of BLM, right? Everything from businesses, small, by the way, many minority owned businesses, even deaths, not, by the way, on the other side's, account, but actually on people protesting on behalf of BLM, right? We'll never be able to forget the death of Garrett, one of the activists or protesters that was out with his fiance, I think at the time, she's in a wheelchair, and he got shot, and he was out there, protesting police injustice along with BLM, and it's unfortunate. I said it before, that he lost his life. I don't think there's really almost any movement that I can think of right this second that's worth a life, right? A movement should be for the sake of, sure, changing policy, sending a message, but I don't think it should ever be at the cost of a human life, right? It's very tragic. And people sit there and may think the opposite and think, no matter how many people have to die, that's a deeper problem that you have to face within you and look deep within you. If that's your mentality, that, hey, I don't care if 1,000 people have to die for my cause, because I'm pretty sure that's somewhat along the lines of what probably someone like, I don't know, Hitler said. I don't care how many Jews it takes to kill, as long as I make my point. So I don't think that there's any movement, including BLM, that it's worth a human life, human sacrifice to send a message. Again, at its core, and maybe where it started, does it make a lot of sense to bring awareness to the fact that there is systemic injustice? Yes. I want to make sure I'm very extremely clear on that. Is it what has been recently? No, not in my opinion, but that's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely hypocritical if you're gonna say that your life is not worth it, because that's exactly what you're fighting for. You're fighting for every group, or that's what should be behind every group. Every group wants equality. Every group wants to be recognized, right? And there has been this thing that has happened since, like we said, influencers has been a thing. And I kind of call them, they're kind of like, they're extreme tourists away, or tourists of extremism. They might post something that's like, boop, your comfort and that kind of thing. And you're attacking a small business, and you're attacking the wrong people. I mean, I think, yeah, there is a certain level where extremism might be necessary. But in this case, attacking a small restaurant has made no palpable change whatsoever. You're not offering anything. It's just you've just ruined someone's day, which like sucks. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's like, yeah, if you have enough money to enjoy a meal out, yeah, whatever. And if it gets ruined once, whatever. But your anger is completely misplaced, and you're aiming at the wrong people. You've got to really focus on where the real problem is. And I don't know. It's just a lot easier, because the people who you are angry at, they're ready to take that anger. They're armed. They have guns. It's the police, right? So who's going to win? A protester or someone in the police who has their gun, who has their pepper spray, who has their handcuffs, who has everything, right? So, and the other funny thing about it is it's, again, very hypocritical, because they probably just post that, and then the rest of their lives, the other 6 or 7 days, or the other 6 days a week that they're living, they're not actually trying to make any palpable change. They just return to their regular life, normality, tourist. So until they start actually, well, I'm not saying this about the whole movement in general. It would be stupid of me to generalize this movement, because it's a movement which I do believe in as well, because Black lives do matter. Of course, I completely can get behind that sentiment. But there are some people in that movement who, it's like the argument of Islam. Not everyone who follows Islam is a terrorist. There are some bad people in this world, and it's the same thing. We can't just generalize. BLM is a great movement, but there are some people who have used it in a very misguided way.
Yeah. And no, that's cannot be that can be more true in the sense that, yeah, the example you gave about Islam is a perfect one, because I think that applies to many groups, right? Again, going back around to what I said about the LGBT community, right? But the problem here is that the actions of getting nominated, and for that matter, even being awarded the Peace Prize, I think sends the wrong message, right? In the sense that, hey, we understand everything that has transpired with your group. but we're still going to nominate you, because I think that while somebody that can use critical thinking will say, well, JT, obviously they're nominating the good, not the bad. Right. The problem is that there is a gigantic lack of critical thinking, right, in the world. I've said it before, and I'm not, I'm going to keep harping on it because I truly believe it, to be true, in the sense that many people, especially those that have participated in riots, not even demonstrations or protests, no, riots, that have claimed BLM. Like that video you just saw of that little girl, spoiled little brat, jumping on an American flag, spitting, burning it, stepping all over it, in front literally of a BLM banner, and everyone else that was there, it sends them the message of saying, oh, damn, perhaps we do deserve this Nobel Peace Prize. Perhaps we were right. And I think that, again, sending that type of message can be dangerous to the further development of the organization, right? If the organization, by the way, in my opinion, had some true leaders at its front, right? People that have actually come out and said, hey, we are an official organization. I am one of the leaders. And that person, year after year, demonstrated to be a phenomenal leader for the cause, and has done great strides and denounced that kind of behavior that I just mentioned. Hey, you know what? Nominate the movement because it has great leaders, right? But it doesn't. It's an organization that allegedly, supposedly, from what I understand, doesn't have any leaders. And it's because of some benefit that I guess I am unaware of, or I guess don't understand, that they claim that the movement doesn't have any leaders, because again, it's a positive, not a negative. Again, I don't understand why, but that's what I've heard before, right? When I've tried to literally Google. Now, there's been some chapters, I guess they call them, that allegedly say, oh, I am a leader of this chapter, but nobody that the entire movement actually accepts, right? And again, when you're talking about nominating a leaderless group that has been documented very well, creating those kinds of public demonstrations where they're burning flags, burning cities, and just doing the opposite of what you just said they stand for, which is equality for all. I don't know that it sends the best message nominating them, or for that matter, rewarding them by giving them an award. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, it's look at the difference between maybe BLM or a group. This might be a bit old school for some people, but like the NAACP that Martin Luther King was the leader of. It wasn't. I mean, they didn't have mobile phones, so we couldn't see everything that happened, but it was a dignified movement. Instead of going in and smashing up a restaurant, they did their sit-ins, non-violent protesting. They had their march on Washington, and they did amazing work to be able to advance, the dignity, the treatment, and just being treated better in society of black people, minorities. The advancement of color people is what the group is called. So there's a certain there's a reason that Martin Luther King has his own frickin' day. Not because he went in and he smashed up. He didn't do a dance on a little American flag or something like that. No, he actually made palpable change. He organized. He was a respected mother bleeper, if you like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. That's a really good example. To that, I will add a cherry on top, and that is someone like Cesar Chavez, right? Who did something very, very similar, right? To the point where he said, I'm not going to make anyone else do it. I'm going to go ahead and go in protests, right? By not eating, I think, other than maybe like some bread and water over how many days, right? To demonstrate, like you said, almost like a sit-in, right? He didn't make everyone else freaking starve. He didn't make everyone out, no, he said, I'm going to do this. And in fact, there's been many different documentaries, different statements for both, Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez, where they would have bad actors join their movement, and they themselves would have them kicked out and say, no, you do not stand with us and you don't represent us, right? And anybody arguing, whoa, JT, different times. It's funny because then, when I'll talk to some people that have ever said that, or I've seen videos of them, I think I've kind of made fun, goofed on that Jesse Castellanos guy, because he's one of those, like, in my opinion, very radical leftists, where he'll say like, oh, you know, this is what it takes, different times. It's like, dude, how old are you? What do you mean different times? You know, like, it's not like, don't act like you lived those times and you know exactly how to compare today with those times. Just because what, pictures are in color now and they're in black and white back then, you know? No, dude, there's a lot of things that we still do as a society that we have been doing for hundreds of years that actually work. You know, here's just a few examples. Opening the door after someone else and saying thank you and please. Oh, you know, those are, yeah, you know, different times all the way, but they still work. Right? There's a lot of things as a society that we can do that still work, that have been used for hundreds of years, right? Doing a sit-in, you know, marching in solidarity, respectfully, not burning cities down, that can still work. Don't come and give me the crap about, oh, well, it's a different time, and now we have to burn things down. Now we have to spray paint. Now we have to throw these Molotov cocktails. You know, now we have to. It's just no, you don't have to do that, right? It's just, I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I feel that many associations, including the Nobel, you know, Peace Prize Association, in my opinion, end up doing, because, as we said in the show before, they are hungry for acceptance, right? Like the whole amen, a woman.
A man and a woman.
They don't even know what they're saying, right? They don't even know what they're saying. I wonder if that person, I remember the name of the senator anymore, or the representative, whatever he is in government, I wonder if he actually Googled what amen stood for. But no, in that literally moment in time, he had a camera, he had an audience. In his moment, he felt in his brain to shine was to say, and a woman. It's like, why would you do that? Oh, let's be honest. It's because you wanted to appeal to a group, and your best way of doing it is to just throw words out there. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what I feel that in this case, the association for the Nobel Peace Prize, or even this singular person, this guy is doing, is, how do I appeal to the masses that I want to make sure don't cancel me, that I want to make sure don't riot at my, you know, in my hometown? How do I make them feel like, hey, over here, I'm one of you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do understand that some people, for me, explaining things in a certain way, you guys probably won't listen because I'm a white man. And I get that. You know, that's completely fine. If you want to completely, you know, just disregard what I say because of my race and because of my gender, that's absolutely fine. That's your prerogative. But in the end, JT and I are having a conversation. And if you do not have the maturity to be able to join the conversation, that's a shame. But yeah, this whole thing is I don't know. It's there's some contradictions, but I get it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree with you. And by the way, we should start wrapping up the show with our final conclusion of the stories, because a lot of people, I think, might come in here, right, saying, hey, well, you on your title said why this or what this, kind of like a question. So we'll answer it, at least personally, right? Josh can give his opinion if he wants to, unless he agrees. So in my opinion, for the does the COVID vaccine make you gay? I don't think so. I think that's stupid. I think you should look at it as something to giggle about and then move on. And make sure that if for some reason you come across someone that says, did you hear this? It can make you gay. You can tell them, stop repeating stupid shit like that. In fact, go watch the JTH show. They explain it very well. And then for the next one, about Black Lives Matter being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, I will say that, again, one more time, that while I stand behind the core ideology behind bringing awareness, right, over systemic racism and injustice, which is what Black Lives Matter started for, I will say that right now I don't feel that the movement deserves the actual award, right? Again, that's just my opinion. What about you?
Right. So yeah, does the vaccine make you gay? No. Stop it. Get offline. You're cancelled. I'm done with you. I'm sick of hearing this crap. Okay, so yeah, okay. That's the first one out of the way. That's the fun one. Laugh about it and laugh at people who believe that kind of thing. Second one. So does Black Lives Matter deserve the Nobel Peace Prize? I would have to say something fairly similar to JT, and this one I'd have to agree. It's a great movement in many ways, but just really think about it. When you do something, if you're going out to cause some kind of violence, do it in your name and don't hide behind a banner. Have the balls to do that at least.
Yeah. Very well said. All right, guys, that is it for today, right?
That's it.
That's it for today. So we appreciate you guys watching the show as always. If we have earned that like, hit it, hit that like button. The subscribe button would also really, really help us. And of course, making sure you ring that notification bell helps us even more than that. Also, if you want to find the links to everywhere we are located in the internet, go to the link tree down below in the YouTube section of the description, and you can find it there. If you're listening to the podcast already, thank you very much. And until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.